Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Ram Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayantiraye. Tato Jayantiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke. Bhagavate Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10. Maharaj Rahuvana meets Jadabharata. Shloka number 4. Na vayam naradeva pramatta bhavan niyamanu pataha sadveva vahamaha ayam adhunaiva niyuktopi na drutam vrajati nanena saha vodum uha vayam parayama iti. Word meaning na, not, vayam, we, Naradeva, O Lord among the human beings. The king is supposed to be the representative of Deva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pramattaha, neglectful in our duties. Bhavat niyama anupataha, who are always obedient to your order. Sadhu, properly. Eva, certainly. Vahamaha, we are carrying. I am this man, Aduna, just recently, Eva, indeed, Niyuktaha, being engaged to work with us, Api, although, Na, not, Drutam, very quickly, Rajati, works, Na, not, Anena, him, Saha, with, Vodum, to carry, Uha, O, Vayam, we, Parayamaha, are able, Iti, thus. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. O Lord, please note that we are not at all negligent in discharging our duties. We have been faithfully carrying this palanquin according to your desire. But this man who has been recently engaged to work with us cannot walk very swiftly. Therefore, we are not able to carry the palanquin with him. Purport: the other palanquin carriers were Shudras, whereas Jadabharata was not only a high caste Brahmana but also a great devotee. Shudras do not sympathize with other living beings, but a Vaishnava cannot act like a Shudra. Whenever a Shudra and a Brahmana Vaishnava are combined, there will certainly be imbalance in execution of duties. The Shudras were walking with the palanquin without at all caring for the ants on the ground, but Jadabharata could not act like a Shudra, and therefore difficulty arose. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the pastime of Jadabharat and King Rahugan. So it's been a long gap. Now after that we are starting. So just to recap, just 2-3 shlokas have been covered in this chapter till now. So here there is this King Rahugana, so who is been carried by palanquin to Kapila Ashrama, and there's on the way, they find short of one palanquin carrier. So then they find this Jadabharat, who seems to be like very young and very well built, and he seems to be a proper candidate for carrying the palanquin. So they recruit him, and basically they force him actually to do this work. So but it is mentioned here that he was not at all fit to do this work. So but then still they unhesitatingly forced him to carry the palanquin. And then when Jadabharat was carrying the palanquin, so the palanquin was going little erratic. It was not going smooth. So all others were diligently doing their work, but then Jadabharat was, he was looking for if he's placing his feet on any ant or not. So and he didn't want to unnecessarily kill any living entity on the way. So he was looking ahead and things like that and all. So because of that, so this condition was has happened. So now here in the previous shlokas, in the purport, Prabhupada actually writes, although Jadabharat was forced to carry the palanquin, he did not give up his sympathetic feelings towards the poor ants passing on the road. A devotee of the Lord does not forget his devotional service and other favorable activities even when he is in a most distressful condition. So this is something very, very notable and very important. So generally we see that when there is some distress, difficulty, so we generally reduce the devotional service. So like why we are not able to do your rounds properly. No, there is so much difficulties there, so much ups and downs that is happening in the life. So because of that, I am not able to do. So but here we see that the great devotees, they always see that what is their role to perform. So their role, they are always clear, they are part and parcel of the Lord and they have to render service to the Lord. So that role clarity is very, very clear and they keep doing that. So whether the opposite, whether the world responds to it or whether the Lord responds to it, so whether they don't respond, so he doesn't mind. He just simply go on carrying his duty of discharging the devotional service. So this is a very, very, very important, notable thing. And see, devotional service, we have seen in Bhagavatam first canto that Savai Pumsa Paro Dharma Yato Bhakti Radokshaja Haituki Apratihata Yayatma Suprasidati. So like the devotional service, and which is unmotivated and uninterrupted, so that is what actually gives deepest satisfaction to the living entity. And because advanced devotee, he doesn't give up devotional service irrespective of the environment what is there. So because of that, he is always very happy. Otherwise, if he were to give up his devotional service in any situation, so then he will not be able to maintain his blissful situation. So that Kaivalyam Narakayate Tridasha Purakasha Pushpayate Durdantendriya Kala Sarpa Patali Protkat Damstrayate Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. So this phrase, that Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. So for a devotee, this world is always full of happiness, whereas for ordinary people it is padam yat vipadam or dukkalayam ashashvatam. So but then for a devotee it is a happy place, because for a devotee it doesn't matter which place he is. He just executes devotional service, and because he is in touch with the Supreme Lord, so he is always in a blissful position. So here even though Jadabharat was forced to carry the palanquin, so it doesn't mean that he was in distressful condition. He was not at all in distressful condition, because like he is he has not forgotten his position as devotional, as a devotee of the Lord and to render devotional service. So then why this question actually arises, that I am doing devotional service, so but then why the Lord is giving me trouble? Why the Lord is putting me in distressful condition? Because the Lord put me in distressful condition, I will not continue this devotional service. So this is the logic that comes. So that means what? So like the devotional service was performed with a view that the Lord will give me some nice situation to be there in, right? So some nice environment to be there in. So that means the aim of devotional service is some transaction, something else I wanted, for that I am performing devotional service. So then it will always be in distressful condition, because there are different levels in which the devotional service is performed. So one is, the devotional service is performed only on the basis of activity, I'm just doing activity of devotional service. But then what is my goal? My goal is material sense gratification. So then it is called karma yoga. The activities of devotional service is performed, but then the goal is material sense gratification. So then that is karma yoga. And if activities of devotional service are performed and the goal is liberation, so then it is jnana yoga. And then the activities of devotional service is performed, but then goal is siddhis and things like that. So then it becomes Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. So then all these things, it is mentioned that Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. So even though they may perform the limbs of devotional service like Shravanam, Kirtanam and things like that, but because they have a goal which is something different from devotional service, so still they will have to be ashanta, they will have to be like distressed, but then if the activities are also devotional service and the goal is also devotional service, so then they are always happy, because in any situation, a devotee can perform devotional service even by just remembrance of the Lord or by chanting his names or engaging in some way, like a devotee can be engaged in some way or other. Even we have seen devotees in very precarious situations, like for example Gajendra, in a very precarious situation, he could able to remember the Lord and he could able to offer prayers, and Prahlad also, like he could able to offer prayers, so and remembrance of the Lord. So in this way we see that this devotional service, devotee who doesn't forget devotional service in any situation, so he is always happy. So why he is not able to give up devotional service even in distressful situation? Because the only thing which he was anticipating and asking for from the Lord is devotional service, and that is not still hampered. So because that is not hampered, so he is not in distressful situation. So like whatever is being removed from him, so it is something which he has not developed attachment to, and he is actively cultivating attachment to the devotional service, like chanting or studying Bhagavatam and things like that. So till the time that is not disturbed, so then he is not disturbed. So in that way we see that, so Jada Bharat, though he was in very, very awkward situation, he was forced to take the palanquin, and which is not, he is not accustomed to such a work. So but still he is not in distressful condition because he is able to execute his devotional service. So what is the devotional service that he is executing? So he is able to see that every living entity as part and parcel of the Lord, and then every living entity has the right to live, and he doesn't want to harm the right to live for that living entity, and that is an etiquette that he is following, and that's a devotional service. Like that's what here Prabhupada is actually mentioning, that although Jada Bharat was forced to carry the palanquin, he did not give up his sympathetic feeling towards poor ants passing on the road. A devotee of the Lord does not forget his devotional service and favorable activities, even when he is in most distressful condition. So for a devotee, for an advanced devotee, for him, it doesn't necessary that if he is there in the temple, then only he'll be able to remember the Lord. So whatever he sees, he is able to see the energy of the Lord, he is able to see the hand of the Lord in entire creation. So, and because of that, he is able to be there in Krishna consciousness in any situation. So, and in that way, like he is constantly in Krishna consciousness and constantly executing his devotion service, and he is not at all disturbed. And another aspect I was just meditating about in this particular pastime is that this third stanza of Sikshashtakam, so like it is Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena. So these three principles. So we see that here is Jada Bharat, like he was, when he was forced to take palanquin, he didn't told like, no, तुम्हें पता है कि no, मैं कौन हूँ, मैं senior devotee हूँ. So मुझे सेवा बोल रहा है. So he didn't respond to the call like that, and he didn't retaliate in any way. So like even it is not a service to the Supreme Lord, not a service to, okay fine, Naradeva, it is mentioned in the next sloka, so he is Naradeva, he is representative of the Supreme Lord, but then there is a greater representative of the Supreme Lord, Jada Bharat, he is a great devotee of the Lord. So but then a natural feeling of a devotee is that he is not a great devotee, and then others are better than him. That is a natural feeling that he always have. And here we see that he was not even asked for service that is of very befitting to a personality like him. So just like in the case of Narad Muni and Daksha, now we can see that. So Narad Muni was executing his service of making all the sons of Daksha as transcendentalists, and Daksha was angry, and he was telling that no, you are coming and creating trouble in the service of the Lord. So what service of the Lord? So service of the Lord at this point in time is the world is empty, and all the living entities who have been sleeping in the body of Mahavishnu, or maybe in the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, so it's in the intermediate creation. So then all of them, they have to be given bodies, and proper samskaras have to be followed, and then the qualified people have to be let in, and for that the people who have come in already, like they have to perform samskaras, and they have to bring in these other souls very nicely. So, and they are diligently doing that service. That's also service to the Lord. And then Narad Muni is also doing service to the Lord. The whole purpose of creation is to liberate the souls and take them back to Godhead. So, but then here, Daksha became angry that the service to the Lord is hampered. So, and then he cursed Narad Muni. So, but then because he cursed Narad Muni, so he had to again get the goat head later on. So then it is is it wrong that was it not service that Daksha was doing? So definitely it is a service, but he is not able to see there is other personalities who are even higher than him, and they are discharging even higher service, right? So that is very important to note. So serving a king may be to some level that's a service to the Supreme Lord. So but then there is a greater service that is there, which is Jada Bharat is doing. So on meditating on the Supreme Lord and rendering devotional service. So that cannot be hampered for doing some lower service. So that is a very important point, and definitely a personality like Jada Bharat, who is a self-realized person, so he cannot be engaged in the service of a king, who is, though he is a representative of the Lord, but still he is not in that transcendental position as Jada Bharat. So here, we are able to understand that there are many people can be called as representative of Lord, but not all representatives of the Lord are same. Even it is. So the mother and the father is also called as a first guru, and then the spiritual master is also called as guru, and the Lord in the heart is also called as guru, Chaitya Guru. So and elders, so they are also called as guru. So but then not all gurus are same, there are people who can actually discharge the transcendental knowledge, so they are more elevated. So even more than them are the ones who are really understood, or who are really advanced in the transcendental knowledge, and then they are disseminating transcendental knowledge. They are even more higher, so like that. So in this way, we see that so all representatives of the Lord are not the same. So there are different representatives, they have different positions, they have, and accordingly we should respect. So and also there is another this one, whenever we discuss this topic, so there is this point comes if a transcendental personality who is giving transcendental knowledge, he is greater, so that means our elders in our family and things like that, they are not very great, we should not respect them. No, it is not like that. We should respect everyone. The first principle is we should respect everyone, and second principle is how much that comes. It is never there is a case that because you respect one person you should not respect another person. So that is not the case. So modern understanding is that if the moment we say that this personality is greater, that means isko respect karna hai, bakiyon ko respect nahi karna hai. So that is not the case. So everyone should be respected, and for that matter here we see that Jada Bharat is even respecting the ants, and he is respecting their right to live. He is not killing them. So he could have applied the principle. There is Shastra can be applied in another way also. So I am a great devotee, and if these ants get killed by me, and they'll go back to Godhead, so I am giving them mercy. So but then he is not applying that principle. He is applying the principle of these ants, they have life, and the Lord has allowed them to live. Who am I to disturb them? Who am I to disturb their living this one? So this is a very nice this one. In the scriptures there are many different rules and regulations are there. So, and like same rules and regulations are implemented by everybody. So but one way of implementation, it is called demon, and another way of implementation is called devotee. So demon means like he will always use those rules and regulations which facilitates his sense gratification. So like no the like here also he could have told that like he could have used the rules and regulations of the scriptures, so which command respect or which demand respect for himself, and which justify his actions and things like that. So even if a devotee walks just like that, if he's a very advanced devotee, like the scriptures will not, or no, the Lord will not what is that hold him any wrong upon him. So rather, like the living entities who are coming in contact with him, they will all become purified. Like it is mentioned that whoever was killed by the arrows of Arjuna, so they were all liberated. So like the same principle can be applied here also. So but then a devotee will choose to apply the principle which is which is in the benefit for others, which is in which gives benefit of doubt that they are great devotees, and which gives benefit of doubt that I am not a devotee. So like that. So that's the principle they actually implement. Otherwise in the scriptures we see that Hiranyakashipu, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, correct, Hiranyakashipu spoke Bhagavad Gita. So like the same principles of Bhagavad Gita, Hiranyakashipu also spoke. Like we are not the body, we are the soul. We should not lament for the death of a great hero like Hiranyaksha and things like that. So he spoke to his family members, and so then the question comes, like Lord also speaks Bhagavad Gita, devotee also speaks, and demon also speaks. So like, so how can we say like who is a devotee, who is a demon? So everybody speaks the principle of Bhagavad Gita. So the principle is that like where the principles are applied, where the scriptural rules and regulations are applied, so that makes a person a devotee or a demon, right? So demon will use it for his own purposes, so but a devotee will use it for Krishna's purpose, right? So Prabhupada also clarifies that in the preface and introduction to Bhagavad Gita, I think in the preface. So like he says that like we are presenting Bhagavad Gita for the same purpose for which Krishna came to deliver this Bhagavad Gita. So like, but for other people, so they are also using the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, but then they are trying to push forward their opinion or their this one, or they are trying to justify their position. So then that is considered to be like demoniac. That's not good. So the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, so but then like how it is utilized, how it is actually put into place. So and here we see in this today's shloka, okay, like the other thing that we are discussing, that like amanina manadena, and this principle, like a devotee, why he doesn't retaliate, why he doesn't retaliate this particular this one, or at least in this case of Jada Bharat, why he did not retaliate. So because if he retaliates and if he contaminates his mind, that will actually create hindrance in his execution of devotional service. So he doesn't want to like interrupt his devotional service, rather like whatever this ones are coming, demands are coming in this world, just fulfill that, and don't get so much don't take so much tension in life, in material life, and take tension only in the spiritual life. So like that. So whatever is the thing, like however the person is moved. So in fact in the Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned that like self-realized soul, like for him the eating and the evacuation and other bodily functions, it just happens. It is happening just because the machine is there, the machine is just working. So but then he is detached from the machine, and then he is fully focused on the Supreme Lord. So like that, like Jada Bharat also, like ठीक है machine है, machine को कोई use करना तो use कर लो, तो हम अंदर से like भगवान का ध्यान करेंगे. So like that. So he's not at all bothered, or he's not using his conscious space to retaliate. He's like fully engaged in devotional service in his conscious space. So in that way, like we see that if somebody has to continuously chant the names of the Lord and then be focused, so this principle of humility is very, very essential. So without the principle of humility, so always this one will come, that ki like mujhe मिलना था, इतना सम्मान देना था लोग, तो नहीं दिए. So then there will be like so much tension that will be there, and then he will not be able to focus on the Lord. So to focus on the Lord, this principle of humility is really very important, and that is very discreetly mentioned. So not expecting honor for oneself and giving honor for others, and then like tolerating like the onslaughts upon oneself. The tree, the one important function or one important phenomena that is noted is, even if the tree is cut, still the tree will give shade to the person who is cutting the tree, right? So like in the same way, like we see that great devotees, like they try to offer shelter even though they are they themselves are being harmed by those people. So in that way, like here we see that Jada Bharat did not tell later on कि तुमने ऐसा मेरे साथ किया, मैं तुमको transcendental knowledge नहीं दूंगा. So but still he is offering shelter, still he is offering his the best wishes to the Rahugana. So like in that way we see that so these great personalities, so they are not disturbed by any of this external influences. They are always seeing how to discharge devotional service in this condition. So that is their only point of this one. So in any situation that is put, so they are not trying to like change the situation, they are not trying to alter the situation, they are not trying to make the situation better. So they are just simply thinking in this situation how to execute devotional service. That's a very important thought process of a devotee. So like this Brahmaji also makes this prayer, Sthane Sthita Shrutigatam Tanuvan Manobir. So like he's telling that whatever situation this material nature is putting you through, so just don't try to change the situation. Just try to see how to execute devotional service in this situation. And this is a very, very high state of sadhana. So generally for sadhakas, so in the beginners, like they have to set their environment right. Otherwise, jo kuch bhi like Bhagwan ka smaran hai, wo bhi chala jayega. So but then for great devotees, it's an advanced sadhana. So that don't try to change the situation. Just try to see how to execute devotional service in this situation, right? So that is a very advanced sadhana, and by that sadhana, what happens, like e prayaso ajita jita, like that supreme Lord who cannot be conquered by anybody, he becomes conquered by this sadhana, right? So like not getting disturbed by the external stimulus, so but then trying to see how to execute devotional service in this point, and how to actually focus on the devotional service. So one practical thing, to some extent we can implement this principle in our daily sadhana. So like when we sit for chanting, so many bona fide reasons we get to get distracted from the chanting. So then we can say that, okay, at least for this 2 hours, whatever distractions come, I will not give way for it. I will only try to see how to hear the names of the Lord clearly, right? So in that way, when we put this sadhana, so and then slowly, gradually we can improve or increase that consciousness, so even beyond the chanting and throughout the day and things like that. So by this process, definitely we will be able to conquer the Supreme Lord. So like a simple process, the process is that like whatever distractions come, I should just simply hear the names of the Lord, right? So in that way, like we can execute this, we can actually take inspiration from Jada Bharat's pastime, and we can try to execute our devotional service, at least the chanting of the names of the Lord. So, and here another important principle that is mentioned, the other palanquin carriers were Shudras, whereas Jada Bharat was not only a high caste Brahmana, but also a great devotee, right? So, when we engage people, or when we have examination, or when we have evaluation and things like that, तो एक जाति का लोगों को evaluate करना चाहिए, सबका मिक्स करके evaluate करेंगे, like then the this one result will not be good. And then सबका साथ में सेवा दे रहे हैं, so we cannot put everybody on the equal level. So there are different devotees who have different capacities, and they should be offered service according to their capacity. So it is not that everybody should be given the same capacity, right? So same service. So Shudras do not sympathize with other living entities, living beings, but a Vaishnava cannot act like Shudra. Whereas a Shudra and a Brahmana, Vaishnava are combined, there will certainly be imbalance in the execution of duties, right? So because their principles, with which they work is different, and because the basic set of principles which they work are different, they cannot actually function properly. So now here, who's at problem? Like who's at fault? Like the Shudras are at fault, or the this one Jada Bharat is at fault? Who's at fault? Huh? No one is at fault. Just put another Shudra and make the team proper, and they will work properly. Expecting the Shudras to act like a great devotee, that is too much of an expectation. No, to ho nahi ho payega. So he will work based on his whatever his perception of the world, and accordingly, he has certain rules and regulations. And if he follow that rules and regulations, the Shudras will not be at fault. Even though they may stamp on the ants and things like that, so they are not at fault, because how much it is expected from the Shudra, he is discharging. So itna karenge to that is dharma for him, and he will get transcendental knowledge by following that. And for great Vaishnav like Jada Bharat, so for him, what needs to be done has to be done. So otherwise, he'll be at fault, or he will consider, at least he will not be comfortable doing whatever the Shudras are doing. So the problem is the combination. So the team has to be prepared in such a way that if Shudra and a Brahmana is there, then the Brahmana should be put as lead and the Shudra should follow. So and Brahmana will give proper instructions according to their level. He will definitely give instructions according to their level, and the team will function properly. So but then sabko ek saath dal diya, and then everybody are thinking they are equal, and then they are trying to execute one service, and that too a service that needs to go in sync, and that is quite difficult. It cannot function in that way. So Shudras were walking with palanquin without at all caring for the ants on the ground, but Jada Bharat could act like Shudra, could not act like Shudra, and therefore difficulty arose. So because there is difference in the perception of the world that they have, so as they advance, accordingly they have a different perception of the world, and based on the perception they have different rules and regulations that governs them. So so based on that, different people have different rules and regulations, and everybody must follow their own set of rules and regulations and not compare themselves with others. So why he is given greater facility, or he is following a different set of rules? That should not come. So everybody has different perception of the world, and according to that they have different rules and regulations, and according to that they are judged by a different scale of dharma. Right? So not everybody is judged with the same scale. So and not every team cannot become so heterogeneous, so that everybody's principles are different, and then they have to achieve one goal. So the hierarchy has to be maintained, so otherwise things will not function properly. So with this I pause today's discussion. Any questions or comments you can take? Yes,
thank you for this nice class. Some amazing points you mentioned. So one of the points you mentioned is that demons, they will use that rule, whatever rules are there from the scripture, they'll use for their own sense gratification. And devotees will use the rules which plead for the pleasure of the Lord and in benefit of others. But at the same time, we see that advanced devotees, their humility is also so high that sometimes they can benefit, but they'll think they are not eligible to benefit others. Like that example of Shivas Thakur and Gopal Chapal, we see when he got leprosy, he offended Shivas Thakur and then he was banished. And then Shivas Thakur was told that you forgive him because then only Mahaprabhu will give his mercy. But he says, I'm not even a devotee, or I didn't take any offense. So there was nothing. And later he was told, you may not consider yourself devotee, but Mahaprabhu considers you a devotee, and so you forgive him, then he get benefited. So like that, even though he can benefit him, but in general, I'm saying generally, but devotees will be so humble that.
So if they give up their quality of humility, so then they will also lose the capacity to bless others. Right? So it comes with this one. And there are two kinds of emotions that actually come in the heart of a devotee. So there are some devotees who actually execute humility in the way that no, I am not qualified. And then there are some devotees, they actually execute their humility in the way that if I can distribute mercy to others, so it will be of great help. So and they execute the humility in such a way that they are not thinking that they are distributing mercy, no, but then no, they are thinking themselves as an instrument, and Lord is actually distributing mercy, and they become like no, very much outwardly, no, they go out, no, full on, and they distribute mercy. So both are humility only, no. So but then different devotees have their own unique feelings, no, towards the Lord and towards other entities in the world, and the Lord appreciates, no, that particular feeling, no. So it's there are other devotees, like, no, the moment they are told that no, this devotee is struggling because of you, so they say, like, no, immediately, where is that person, like, no, let him be free. Let him not suffer because of me, right? So in that way also, like, devotees think, no. So there is, like, both the ways, this kind of feelings are there. So but like, ultimately the root should be humility, and root should be like seeing the hand of the Lord, so like matter and spirit, the difference is like yesterday only we were studying this one Bhakti Vaibhava answer. So in that it is what is that this one scientists nahi. There are less intelligent materialists, and their mind is very flickery, so but then like for that the Lord is telling, like, no, I am Virata Roop, everything that exists is my part and parcel, my body, जितना माइंड फ्लिकर हो सकता है इसी का अंदर फ्लिकर होगा ना, तब भी मेरा ऊपर ही ध्यान करना पड़ेगा तुमको. So but then the question came that scientists are also like meditating fully on the matter only. So but then the problem is they are not able to see the matter in connection with the Lord. So this less intelligent spiritualists, they are able to see the matter in connection with the Lord, and their meditation on the matter actually purifies them and gives transcendental knowledge. And the scientists, who are atheists, like, they are able to see matter and they meditate on matter, but they are not able to see its connection with the Lord. So that's why, Prabhupada's that famous preaching, if you are so much attached to liquor, so then think that, the taste of liquor comes from Krishna. So in that way, like, he'll get transcendental knowledge, but then when he gets transcendental knowledge, the next level of this one practice is that he has to give up liquor. Then only he'll make advancement further. So in that way, like, seeing connection with the Lord, that makes all the difference. Seeing the connection with the Lord. So because the devotee, he is seeing so much in connection with the Lord is very great, and all other living entities who are connected to the Lord, they are very great. I am not very great. So because he is able to see his connection with the Lord, with himself and with other things, that is why he is a great devotee, and that is why he has, if he forgives, there is some value. If he stops to see things in connection with the Lord, whether he blesses or forgives, it doesn't have any value. So it will not make that much great impact actually, because he is able to see things in connection with the Lord. So even though he is humble, like, kabhi na kabhi to forgive karenge, kuch value hoga. And because he is of that position, like, an offense against him resulted in such a great leprosy he got, Gopal Chapal. So otherwise he would have not got this one. So like both the ways, it is effective actually. So the key thing is, a devotee should be in touch with the Lord. Then then things are effective in his connection.
That is dependent on his mood. Someone may be distributing the mercy, thinking that it's the mercy of the Lord, and someone may be very showing it.
Yeah, both the emotions are there. So that's why externally we cannot see, who is a devotee. It's quite difficult. It's quite an internal subject. How much he is able to see things in connection with the Lord, so that nobody can quantify. That.
You were explaining about like how other people, like in Karma Kanda, they want something, but the goal is something else. In Jnana Kanda, they do devotional service, the goal is something else. But suppose sadhaka, he's doing devotional service and his goal is to get happiness, like either internally by meditating or not. So his focus is not on giving pleasure to Krishna, but pleasure to himself, but by devotional service. He doesn't want anything external or something, or mystic or something. He just wants simple happiness or peace or something by doing devotional service. Then what category we can put this kind of inclination?
Simple peace means jnani.
Yeah.
Liberation, basically he wants liberation.
So he just wants to be happy.
Yeah. So he wants Lord to be happy, then then is devotional service.
about this distress. You were explaining how when distress comes, people reduce their devotional service. But other case we see when distress comes, only then people start bhakti. So are they at higher position?
So, yeah, so distress comes. Yeah, that is a very nice, this one. If distress comes and we are able to see that now I have to take shelter of the Lord, so that's a great blessing of the Lord actually. So that itself is a great blessing of the Lord. And by executing that, like intense devotional service, if we make advancement, that's even more blessings of the Lord. So this is coming to the point that I have to take shelter of the Lord at the time of distress. No, that means it's it's a quite a good amount of advancement of Krishna consciousness. No, in general, it doesn't happen. So whenever there is distress, no, devotion service reduces. so like in distress, if we are able to take shelter of the Lord, so that's nice. No, that's nice. Like it is a sign of mercy of the Lord.
He's saying that the ones who, when they come into distress, they take shelter of the Lord. They're better than
Yeah.
the ones.
That's a sign of mercy of the Lord. It's a better position.
But still, the consistency might not be there. Just the flickering.
Consistency might not be there, but then in the time of distress, one takes shelter of the Lord. So the Lord also appreciates him as, Sukritino Arjuna. No, he has Sukriti. No, otherwise he will not be able to take shelter of the Lord. So if he's in distress, so then, though he may be the lowest among the transcendentalists, but then still he's a transcendentalist. No, he's a Sukriti. No, he's a huh?
Yes, Punya.
He has punya. No, otherwise he will not be able to take shelter of the Lord. So in this one, it's a great thing actually. So it is not that easy, to get even to that position. No, so being in distress and taking shelter of the Lord, and exclusively taking shelter of the Lord. No, that's very nice. Like it's not that मैं I am trying to do something else also, भगवान का एक नारियल में फोड़ देंगे, जो भी नाराज है सब peaceful हो जाए. So it's not like that. No, he's exclusively taking shelter of the Lord. That means it's a sign of mercy of the Lord actually. Yes.
Thank you very much for a nice class. So highlighting the point how living in tick and peace will only doing Hariksetra Prabhuji. In this regard, so when you mentioned in the class that about Daksha and Narada Muni, so both are rendering service to the Lord. So one is higher and so in our practical day-to-day lives, so how can we do different?
Always we should see that our service is lower. So then that is a way to differentiate. The practical way is that all other service is more important than my service. No, that's the best way to look at actually. So their service should not be hampered. Like that. So and then once properly our advancement in Krishna consciousness is there, so then we will be able to see how our service is higher, even if our service is higher. And what did Narad Muni do? When this one Daksha retaliated saying that no, you are creating problem in the service and no, I am cursing you. And he says, okay, fine, I just take it. So even though we may be doing a higher service, but if we don't have higher knowledge, higher vision, so then somebody curses like this, we will again counter curse. And then whatever little bit devotional service is there, that will also be lost, by utilizing the power in the cursing, So this, till the time we get higher knowledge, whatever service we are doing, that is lower service only. And when we get higher knowledge, we know that we are doing higher service, even if somebody comes in the way and say no, your service is lower service, but still we'll say humbly okay, and we will continue to do our service. So that requires a little more broadening of our consciousness. The first sadhana that we have to do is, my service is lower service. That is our first sadhana. And we should practice that nicely. And then when the knowledge increases, then we will be able to understand what is higher and what is lower.
Individual aspect, yes. When we are in a managerial position, and we have a number of people, so how to do that?
Okay, so this managerial position, so then you have to do two roles. So one role is as a sadhaka, No, that should not disturb your devotional service. And second role is what needs to be done, no, ideally. No, so that ideal principle, that we need to be there in guidance, and we need to also study the, Bhagavatam nicely, the sections of how the management has to be done properly. Like Prabhupada also gives a lot of instructions, like how it has to be done. So we have to do it externally, we have to do it. So, but internally, we should understand, like whatever I am doing, that is the lowest. So like, but externally, whatever needs to be done, so that needs to be done. So two things, that are there. So in this classic example is, I don't know, like it is real example or not, but it is told often, that Narad Muni tells to that serpent, we should not harm anybody, and then it stops harming anybody, and then like children start throwing stones on the serpent. So then further Narad Muni gives the serpent that snake that key, like, no, you should not bite anybody, but then you should scare people. That is for self protection. So he has given up the envious nature of harming people, but then he has to show that he is powerful. So just to keep himself protected. So like that, both things have to be executed. So internally we should see that there is different thought process internally, and there is externally, like whatever the managerial needs are there, that needs to be done. And so dual thing has to be done. So if we do only managerial thing, so managers generally go to hell only. So no one need to be a devotee to go back to God. And also, like in one of our conversations with one senior devotee, like, to go back to Godhead, one has to be renounced. So one has to renounce the managerial position also. Then only he'll go back to Godhead. So like that. So in this way, like, we should be detached from the managerial role, and then we should execute the managerial role. So because the managerial role generally, like, it gives Ishvara Bhav, and that is very, not very conducive for our practice of devotional service. Okay? That.
One more question. Mentioned in the class that regarding that point, how Shudras are they helping that king, and how Jalabharat is. So both are different classes. So in our society also, we see devotee circle. So we have devotees of different natures. So different services were engaged for everyone. So whenever they are together, as mentioned by Prabhupada, so there is some
Differences are there. Yeah.
How can we expect that devotees to be together?
Yeah, so managerially, like, we should see that different devotees have to be given different kinds of service according to their capacity and nature, and many times it is not possible. So the principle of tolerance also have to be exercised, so that is needed. And then whenever there is some discrepancy like this is there, so the services have to be adjusted. And one important thing that needs to be trained, which was quite a natural training in the Vedic times. If all the Shudras, or even the king himself also, the moment he knew that Jadabharat is a great devotee, so immediately he offered him respect. So like, in this scene, like, we see that the Shudras are there, the king is there, the sadhu is there. So the moment the position is clear, everybody knows, like, who has to receive how much respect. So like, it is not that the Shudras were not performing now with the bhakti. They were also performing now with the bhakti. So, but then they know their position. They know that I'm not sense controlled. Like, I'm not having that much high revelation of knowledge. So then I must be, like, working in subordination, right? So in that way, like, this comparison should not be there, and proper appreciation for other devotees should be there. That is very essential. So unless we come to this position of eradicating the comparison and properly respecting others, so it is quite difficult to implement the varnashrama. This is basically a principle of varnashrama. To implement the principle of varnashrama, there needs to be a mutual respect that needs to be given. It's not that the Brahmanas were looking down upon the Shudras. They were respecting the Shudras because they are also working, and they are also, like, contributing, like, nicely to this one. And they would reciprocate to the Shudras by the way of giving transcendental knowledge. And everybody were reciprocating. The Varnashram system is, so there is give and take everywhere. No, a Brahmana cannot function without Shudra, and Shudra cannot advance without the Brahmana. No, everywhere there is give and take, and everywhere there is interdependence that is there. No, so only a transcendentalist, no, he may completely give up the dependence of the society, and he may just live. No, whatever comes by the will of the Lord, I will just accept it. No, he will not be dependent on anybody, right? So, but then otherwise, no, everybody are no interdependent. No, so the Brahmanas would be assisted by the Shudras. No, and the Vaishyas would be assisted by the Shudras, and the Kshatriyas would be assisted by the Shudras. So to that extent, we have Upavarnas. So there are Shudras who are capable of assisting the Brahmanas, who have some level of cleanliness and who have some desire or inclination towards Brahmanism, but no, they cannot control the senses as good as the Brahmanas. No, they are Shudras, who are Brahmanically inclined, and they are assistants of the Brahmanas. And there are Shudras who are assistants of Kshatriyas, this chariot drivers. No, when the fight is happening, they will not run away like baan aa raha hai, no, kidhar leke aa gaya mujhe. So it is not like that, no, they will run away. So for them, for serving their master, if they get killed in the battle, they'll be they consider that to be a great honor, and they would not run away. So those are Shudras who are capable of assisting the Kshatriyas. They are not fearful. They are fearless. And they have some qualities of Kshatriya, but then they are Shudras. So like that. So in that way, we see that the Shudras, they assist the higher class, and the higher class also, they contribute in the life of the Shudras. So in that way, we see that the society has to be organized in that way. So in Kali Yuga, when the things are not clear, so then that is a problem. So but then when a little bit of chanting and then nice environment of execution of service is there, so then once Varna becomes clear, little clarity actually comes up. So whatever mixture is there, clarity comes up. So but then the next problem that comes is comparison. Why he should be given more respect, why he should be given that service, why not me, and things like that. So this kind of comparison, when it comes, so then it becomes very difficult. So then the main problem in Kali Yuga is not the role clarity. The main problem in Kali Yuga is I should get that role though I am not qualified. So then it becomes that becomes this one, what is that, two kinds of effect comes. So the depression comes and pride comes. Pride comes when I am not qualified, but I want to do something higher. And then depression comes other people are doing, so but I am not able to do. So you are not able to do means you are meant for doing something else. Why don't you focus on that? Why you want to compare with this person only? And then depression happens actually. So this, that is why these two diseases are quite rampant in Kali Yuga. Depression and pride. So superiority complex and inferiority complex. So these two things are there. So, but then reality, what is there? So for that, it requires, some nice culturing of this Varnashrama principles. Otherwise there cannot be any peace at the society. So even though we may be chanting, we cannot be peaceful. Till the time this Varnashrama principles are properly set in. So any society where this principle, Varnashrama principles are not put in, so that society has to be chaotic. There cannot be any peace there. Because there is comparison and unnatural expectations and things like that. So that has to be chaotic over there. Hare Krishna. ठीक है
This question every one should be respected irrespective of their position, and all the living entities have the right to live. But practically, sometimes we see that when we are cleaning house or something, we have to kill the insects. We have to make cockroach and ants. So that time, how the youth should live all the living entities?
Yeah, that's a difficult task actually. अभी recently हम लोग कटवल का दवा लगाए. So if the principle of atatayina, so that is there, one who poisons or one who harms another living entity like mosquitoes and things like that and all. So, or the other living entities which poisons. So then that should be cleansed. So, but then the care should also be taken for keeping the place clean. Like Prabhupada actually gives this principle that if we keep the place clean, so then this one would be like these insects and other things will not come. So but in Kali Yuga, like I was just analyzing this problem where we are going short in this. So in Kali Yuga, like the thing is that every person has to work. Even in ashram also everybody is like completely busy. So the thing is that in Vedic times there was a joint family, and in the joint family, like there is so many people are there, in the joint family, and there is so much of ample time is there, and they have only this one is like take care of the house, to keep the house very clean, and to cook, and to execute spiritual duties. There's such an ample time was there. So now in the modern world, like so much of like everybody working like 10 hours, 12 hours and things like that, and then घर में भी एक दो लोग हैं and then किधर जाके साफ करेंगे, ये करेंगे, and if you have to keep a maid for cleaning, that is even more costly. So that becomes quite difficult actually to execute. So like to accept only minimal things, so that we can keep them clean and neat. So that is one thing that we can actually execute. And then so we have to live in community of devotees. That is another this one. And also in the ashram also I've seen that this particular principle of cleanliness is also a very, very important service. Like not just organizing big events or preaching program and things like that. So that is also service, and equally important service is also like internal care. So we need to schedule manpower for these things also. Like where there is no scheduling of manpower, so then the work will not get done. So so everything needs to be scheduled. So and this is also an important service, and this may be looking like maybe like इससे कितना वक्त बना. So maybe we will not be able to quantify that like that, or ये तो मेहनत वाला सर्विस है, like ये क्यों करना है and things like that. So but then so this gives lot of mercy, and each service actually carries the mercy of the Lord. So it can actually give transcendental knowledge. Just by cleansing the floor, we will get transcendental knowledge. So we should see that like in the ashram also we should see that as minimal things has to be accepted in the ashram, and rest of the things we should not accept it. Maybe maintenance will become difficult. So like that. So we should keep minimal things and we should maintain them cleanly. So then that can be avoided. So but otherwise like other practical things have to be taken care. So what needs to be done for keeping the place clean. And then as as we advance, either we live in a joint family, or joint family of devotees, all of them are devotees, and or otherwise like we accept minimal things, and try to keep them clean. And तब भी नहीं हुआ तो like मारना ही पड़ेगा इसको. और क्या कर सकते हैं? We cannot live with cockroach. That is not the principle. So we'll discuss over prasadam further. ठीक है. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद